7 years on from its first ever democratic election, the Maldives is still struggling to find political stability. The man who won that first presidential poll is now behind bars again, his prosecutors drawn from the ranks of the dictatorship that preceded him. Now, the thousands of tourists who visit the island's upscale resorts every year are for now untouched by this upheaval. But as international condemnation of Malé grows, how long before business suffers? Hello, I'm Taimur Nabili. This is Between the Lines. Now, the arrest of Mohamed Nasheed, the former president of the Maldives, has come as no surprise, least of all to the man himself. In February, Nasheed told Indian media, "If I go to jail, please come and get me and take me to India." And Nasheed did indeed go to jail. He was arrested on February the 22nd and charged with terrorism, just days before he was to lead a mass demonstration against the current government. His subsequent appearance in court saw him injured and then denied medical attention, and his attempts to get legal representation appear to have been consistently blocked, all of which has sparked concern both at home and abroad. His supporters staged protest in the capital, Malé, even shouting down the sitting president's speech at the opening of Parliament this week. The UK, Canada, Australia and the Commonwealth Secretariat have all expressed their concern, as has Amnesty International. And now India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is apparently reconsidering his official visit to the Maldives, which was scheduled for March 15th. But all this is pretty much business as usual in a country that has struggled to find democratic stability after 30 years of dictatorship ended in 2008. Will things ever change? Let's join the discussion with Ibrahim Muaz Ali, who's a spokesperson for the presidential office of the Maldives. Also with us, Imtiaz Fahmy, deputy leader and spokesperson for the Maldivian Democratic Party. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Imtiaz Muaz Ali, let me begin with you, if I might. Please explain what the current condition is of Mohamed Nasheed, and will he be allowed to appeal to the higher courts? Imtiaz Muaz Ali, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I do.
Could you please just tell me what the current condition is of Mohamed Nasheed's appeal to the higher court?
Starting off with Muaz.
Yes, please. Muaz, are you there?
Hello.
Can you hear me, Muaz?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Muaz, if I may begin with you, could you please tell me whether Mohamed Nasheed's appeal to the higher court is to be allowed to go through?
Actually, if I may include, as you have mentioned, that on February 22nd of 2015, the Prosecutor General of the Maldives filed charges against former President Mr. Nasheed at the criminal court, pursuant to Article 2 of Law Number 10/90, Terrorism Act, which stipulates that it is an act of terrorism to kidnap, abduct, or take hostage person, and so on. So prior to this, on 16 February 2015, the Prosecutor General had withdrawn the case, filed at Malé Magistrate Court for further review. Based on the review, the Prosecutor General had decided that the best course of action in proceeding with the trial was by amending the charges filed against Mr. Nasheed and changing the court at which such charge was filed. It is to be noted that under Constitution of the Maldives and under the Prosecutor General's Act, the Prosecutor General has the discretion to review any criminal proceedings at any stage of the trial prior to its judgment. This is, first of all, I would like to note it here. And Mr. Nasheed was arrested on 22nd February 2015 under an arrest warrant issued by the Criminal Court of Maldives. As the spokesperson of the government, the government, is not interfering in all these procedures. As you know, we are practicing democracy. We have three separate powers here. The Prosecutor General and the judicial system, the President or the government has no influence on these powers. So Mr. Nasheed was arrested on 22nd February 2015 under an arrest warrant by the Criminal Court of Maldives. For his first appearance in court, he was escorted from the police detention facility in Dunidu Island to the Criminal Court in Malé.
Okay. Can I ask you, though, why has Mr. Nasheed not been allowed medical attention, and why has he had so much trouble in getting legal representation?
He has attended for medical representation, and the right to appeal a legal counsel. As per the normal legal procedure, he was presented before a judge within 24 hours. And the judge gave Mr. Nasheed the opportunity to appoint a legal counsel. Throughout the process, the police followed the standard procedure and due process.
All right.
According to the regulations on trial advocacy issued and gazetted 2 months ago by the Criminal Court, requires proper registration of counsel in all criminal matters 2 days prior to the hearing.
All right. Imtiaz Fahmy, your response to the government position.
Thank you again. I would first like to describe Mohammed Nasheed's case as an ongoing war between a former Amnesty International prisoner of conscience and some murderers on the loose affiliated with the former dictatorship of the 30 years. As you know, we have a judiciary which is a crying shame, which does not deliver or is incapable of delivering justice. So Mohammed Nasheed will not be offered a fair trial.
Well, could you specifically address the claims of Muaz there that he has been given the chance of proper representation, he was given medical treatment, and he has been charged according to the due process of law?
No, not at all. President Nasheed was at first charged 3 years ago with some other charges, and all of a sudden this charge was pending, and then the Prosecutor General dropped the charges, and he was charged again with a more serious offense of terrorism. And Prosecutor General, at the request of the Prosecutor General, the judge issued an arrest warrant to arrest President Nasheed. He was not even investigated of this offense, of this crime, but all of a sudden he was issued to be arrested. And the police mishandled and mistreated him as he was taken. He was a former president of the Maldives. He should be treated as a former president. And he was taken to the court. And despite President Nasheed's repeated requests for legal counsel, he was denied that in the first arraignment day. And also he was badly hurt. He repeatedly requested the judges to medical assistance. Yet the judges denied that. And also the right to appeal, despite repeated requests by Mr. Nasheed's lawyers, he was denied the right to appeal to a higher court of his unlawful arrest.
Muaz, certainly the pictures that we see of the arrest of the former president do tend to show that he wasn't given the kind of treatment one would think that a former president deserved. But let me ask you one specific question. Why is it, as Imtiaz just asked there, why is it that the government or the prosecutor's office suddenly decided to drop the previous charge against him, which carried a sentence of 3 years maximum in prison, and bring a charge of terrorism instead for the same crime, which carries a 15-year term? Can you give us an idea of why this crime that he's accused of doing amounts to terrorism in any way?
Actually, the Prosecutor General is a separate body and the separate power. the Prosecutor General is the ideal institution to answer your question. That is, first of all, I would like to know.
Does the presidential office have a position on this? Surely they must have an opinion.
Yeah. As far as we understand, the charges against former President Nasheed, it is before the President Yamin's administration, during the President Wahid's administration, in 1st September 2012, if I'm correct, the charges is being filed. So this is not from any influence from this government, and everything.
Well, with respect, Muaz, the Commonwealth, various members, individual members of the Commonwealth, and the government of India have all expressed their concern and their doubt about what you are proposing as the situation here. And yet the foreign minister has come out and threatened to leave the Commonwealth and told India not to poke its nose in. It seems as if the president's office does have a political problem on its hands right now, doesn't it?
We are not having any political problem or international problems. Actually, a concern from another country like India, USA, and some of the other countries, they are very friendly nations. So
you wouldn't consider international condemnation to pose a political problem? I mean, would India, last time it had a spat with the Maldives, actually suggested its citizens don't go there for holidays? If you have the Commonwealth also giving its tourists suggestions that they shouldn't visit the Maldives, you're going to have not only a political problem, but a serious economic one, aren't you?
It will affect our economy and our economic projects. As you know, President Yamin, we are having a huge economic agenda, our economic projects. We have already invited investors to come. But due to the protesters, due to this political unrest, we feel that there are certain problems. But as you said, is there any international pressure? I must say no, we don't have any international pressure. But raising a concern from our friendly neighboring countries, that is not. We don't take it as political pressure. This is our internal matter. Since 1965, Maldives is a member of United Nations, a fully independent country. So we have our own constitution and our own. We are practicing our democracy.
But what you don't have is any real democratic credibility, isn't it? Because the presidential election that we last saw was ultimately decided by the Supreme Court of the country and put into the presidential seat a man whose return in the voting did not seem to merit it. So that kind of reputation.
The opposition leader, Mr. Nasheed, he's one who has competed with the President Yamin. He is the other day he defeated. He agreed that it was a defeat. So there was no question regarding the legitimacy of the government.
All right, Muaz, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us today. Presidential spokesperson from the Maldives, Ibrahim Muaz Ali there. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll consider some of that international pressure because India's Prime Minister Modi, who had expected to visit the Maldives next week, may not actually make the trip. We'll talk about that coming up after the break. Welcome back. Now, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was supposed to make an official visit to the Maldives next week. That's now in doubt. New Delhi issued a statement of concern regarding the treatment of Mohammed Nasheed, a statement which drew a sharp rebuke from the Maldives Foreign Minister, Dunya Mamoon. New Delhi has spoken on Nasheed's behalf in the past, but what will it do this time? I'm joined from New Delhi by Dr. Samta, a research fellow with the Indian Council of World Affairs, and still with us from Male, Imtiaz Fahmi, deputy leader and spokesperson for the Maldivian Democratic Party. Dr. Samta, if I may begin with you, how would you characterize India's position right now and its potential response to what's happening in the Maldives?
Yeah, I think India has expressed its concern about what is going on in Maldives because it has been an important neighbor to India because India and Maldives actually shared very good bilateral relations except I think in 2012 when the GMR was out and there was it went on a rough path. Otherwise, I think Maldives also looked up to India as a good friend in terms of the development assistance in providing and also in terms of promoting capacity building, trainings, and other emergency assistance. So these developments, whatever is happening in Maldives, particularly the political crisis, is India thinks is a not a good development because and it wanted both the parties, but the PPM as well as the MDP and all other political parties to resolve the differences in an amicable way, which is good for their country because it is newly democratic country. As a newly democratic country, I think every country faces a lot of problems in the democratization process or even in formulating policies, democratic policies, as well as in institution building.
Right, but
So
the Modi government
India
has
understands that. Yeah.
the Modi government has issued a statement of concern. Do you think they might actually cancel this trip?
I mean, I don't know whether it isn't too early to take a call because, yes, he's visiting other countries in South Asia, so I think it is too early to take a call. But given the fact that the Maldives foreign minister has said, given a statement that he doesn't want any foreign government instructions about what is going on in Maldives, and it is a very stern stand taken by the Maldivian government, I guess India is concerned about that, of course, it is an internal political matter, but then given the sensitivities involved, given the geostrategic position,
Right.
A lot of things are involved in it. So I think India would like Maldives to settle the conflict, the differences in an amicable way.
Imtiaz Fahmy, do you think that international pressure will have an impact? You heard Muaz, the presidential spokesman in the first half, suggesting that there was no pressure upon the government at this time and he didn't think it was particularly relevant. Do you think it'll make a difference?
Yes,
I'm
because
concerned that
Imtiaz, to you, please.
I'm concerned that the spokesperson for the government has been disregarding international concerns over the Maldives situation. That is sad, really sad. As for India, Maldives and India has always had good relations, really good relations. And India is our closest ally and the biggest democracy around, and we should go together with India. Certainly, the Maldives has a really big issues in the country happening right now, and Prime Minister Modi's visit is of our concern as well. We would like to welcome Prime Minister Modi to the Maldives. We would like to offer a warm welcome to the people of the Maldives and our party as well. However, at the same time, the people will be really hurt at this moment if Prime Minister Modi makes a visit to the Maldives and going hand in hand with an authoritarian who has jailed the symbol of democracy in the country, who has jailed the most popular political leader in the country, and he has been tried in a kangaroo court and is facing 15 years jail sentence. So the people of the Maldives has been expressing this concern, and also Indian media, Indian people have been expressing this concern as well. They have been expressing the sentiments of the Maldivians. So President Modi's visit will have a meaning in it.
Dr. Samta, is there a possibility that the Modi government might be concerned about the Maldives establishing a relationship with China if they decide to take a position against the current Maldives president?
Yeah, yes, there has been a concern. Obviously, Mali is an independent country and they follow their own foreign policy. But then India is concerned on different on security terms, and even in the past it said that it is concerned about if at all the Malian government allows a military base in one of the Maldivian islands. So other than that, I think yes, because it is up to the Maldives where they can take a call. India is an important neighbor for Maldives, and I'm sure that.
But how important is the Maldives to Indian security and Indian politics right now?
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Samta, how important is the Maldives to India's security calculus right now? How much would President Modi want to keep them on side?
I think as a maritime power, as a maritime Indian Ocean power, basically they want to. Maldives, Sri Lanka, and India, sorry, Sri Lanka, India, and Maldives have also had a trilateral maritime agreement. They want to work on various issues, addressing terrorism, piracy, as well as these other things. And India is expecting that as a neighbor, and we all work together to keep the Indian Ocean safe from any interference or for any other security reasons. So that is how I think India looks at it. Apart from developing Maldives, is a small neighbor. Apart from developing Maldives economically, and apart from establishing democratic institutions and there,
right.
and apart from upholding democratic values in the neighboring country, I think for each other's development, we need each other. The India and Maldives need each other. That's how bilateral cooperation is always. It has to be beneficial to each other. That's how I think the Indian government looks at it.
Imtiaz Fahmy, even if Prime Minister Modi doesn't come to the Maldives, even if the pressure is mounted, will it make any difference? Maldives has been a dictatorship for 30 of the past 36 odd years, and the current political instability is not really going to make much of a difference to any of its international partners. The government and the president there can act pretty much with impunity, can't they?
India has always been...
Imtiaz Fahmy, yes, please.
India has always been a great friend and of great help to the Maldivians in building up its democracy while we were coming through a dictatorship. So we have to build good relations with India, but the current regime has been burning the bridges between India. For example, we have had in the Maldives a $500 million US dollar a contract by GMR, but this was terminated arbitrarily by the Maldivian government, and this will adversely affect the Maldivians and the relations between the two countries as well. Also, the current regime has been moving from old friends towards to say a different country, which is China. The relations with other countries that we have had good relations earlier are now going very bad, I must say. So this will affect badly to the Maldivians and the neighboring countries like India, also Sri Lanka.
Imtiaz Fahmy of the Maldivian Democratic Party. Thank you, Dr. Samta of the Indian Council of World Affairs. Thank you also for being on the program tonight. That's it for this show. I'll leave you again with a final reminder of our online address where you can find previous episodes, channelnewsasia.com/video. Goodbye for now.